Companies are selling stock at a record pace to start the year. US listed companies have conducted 80 follow-on stock offerings this year through Friday, raising $16 billion. There's all kinds of business happening today. The SPAC, the IPOs, all of this is just generating money. There's money flowing in from every single direction today. This is something that looks like it's going to accelerate far faster than it did in 2020, and that was unbelievable as it is. Public companies have been taking advantage of a hot stock market by issuing shares at a record pace in January. This is the chart just showing you right here money raised in follow-on offerings by US listed companies each year through January 22nd. You could see right on the right-hand side, it's just way beyond, and that is just to give you a comparison. Last year, I believe, if that's 2020, was looking like it was about 7.5 billion. And, it's just unbelievable to see that it's gone more than double that at this point. And we are in a time of great uncertainty. So it doesn't seem to be stopping these companies because they're saying now is the time. Let's go IPO. Let's do this right here. They mentioned companies like Zoom and so on that nobody really even knows, how they generate revenue. Who cares? Who cares about revenue? You just buy in. It's a tech company. Just buy in. It has .com at the end of it. Just buy in. This is the market that we are in today. Left-hand side, you could see since U.S. election flows shifting to inflation assets, and that's commodities, real estate, and so on. Right-hand side over deflation assets, treasuries, U.S. large cap, and so on. So it's just broken down there. If you're interested to check that out, I don't know what's going to occur, but I certainly know that there has been a rebalancing of portfolios over the last little while, and it's really been changing things, the landscape of the financial industry. Bank of America's bull and bear indicator, and you could see that it is heading very closely to the extremely bullish territory, which is a sell right now sitting at 7.2. And we're talking about Bank of America here. This is not, some independent agency. This isn't real investment advice that showed extreme euphoria. We're talking about Bank of America. They're on the inside as it gets. And they're even saying right now, this is hot. This is getting into those levels here, euphoria levels, and so on. Fed balance sheet to hit 42% of GDP. It's really ridiculous. Anyway, at this point, they have no intention on ever getting this under control. And the US budget deficit to hit 33% of GDP in 2021. We'll see what occurs. They expect that this is going to change at some point. We're going to get this. As long as we get the growth going, we're going to be doing just fine, but it never works out that way. Never has in history. I mentioned this on my Instagram, but you got to look at this. GameStop Mania, fueled by record options and white knuckle shorts. This has been very important because a lot of the people who have been betting on the companies that are really taking all those shorts, like Tesla, for instance, those people have made the biggest gains. So you can actually, there's a strategy that's going on today that people are simply buying the most shorted stocks and have profited a great deal. I'm not telling anybody to do that. Look into that for yourself if you're interested, but that's something that I have noted, and this just gives you an idea of what's been happening. Michael Burry, the last time, the third quarter, I think, of 2020 on the 13F, Michael Burry's company was actually could stand to profit big time. If he's still holding, stands to profit big time from this particular stock right here. Here's a quote talking about the housing market, and it's very clear, it's obvious, no different than what we're seeing in stocks and so on. Homeowners are smiling because they're seeing prices increase. The frustration is coming from the first-time buyers who don't have any housing equity and they're trying to save up for a down payment. Today's market is unhealthy. People are making hurried decisions and prices are rising way above income growth. Absolutely 100% true. There's no way to deny this, but people just say, well, it's just going to go up forever. And that right there, of course, cannot be possible. There has to be something that changes. Maybe it flatlines. It could flatline for a period of time, but even if it were to flatline for 5 years, the wages still wouldn't grow to that level anyway. So we are in la la land. We're in unicorn territory, and I really don't know what's going to change at this point. I don't know how Europe is still standing, but here we are. I think one of the biggest problems is the interconnectedness of the banking system and how terrible the so-called assets or liabilities are for these banks. Mountain of small loans loom over Europe's hit banks. Banks have outsized exposure to small businesses, the backbone of the continent's economy. If these businesses fail, pain awaits Europe's already stretched lenders. So the reason I mention this is because we're looking for a linchpin. We're looking for a reason why the market could pop. It could happen anywhere around the world, and it could happen for any particular reason. Nobody, I mean, other than just a small handful of people, expected that the subprime mortgage market in the United States would create a financial collapse that we hadn't seen for nearly 100 years. Nobody, okay? And then today you look back, oh yeah, it was obvious. I saw that happen. Yeah, that'll never happen again. And nothing was resolved. The SEC, they watched it all happen. They made it happen. You look at the rating agencies, completely and entirely complicit. They made this happen. You look at the financial companies, all turned a blind eye to the fraud. And you don't think that's going on today on every other level, whether it's the stock market, whether it's the bond market, whether it's happening with the manipulation of precious metals. Look at the real estate. It's happening on all territories and all areas in every sector. Let's wake up.